Hey guys, before we call the meeting to order, we're having the similar problems as we did at the council meeting. That the audio coming out of that room is not strong. It's cutting in and out.
Come to the meeting.
I'm at the meeting. Welcome to 2020.
See, there you go. Hey.
Or should we switch up?
Oil advisory. Color. First. Water mains are. $45, and we should know the results on those about tomorrow afternoon. We sample upstream, downstream, sample up on top of the hill on Woodlawn, no pressure, and one of them line that was shut off where the break was. And like I say, as soon as we receive results, we'll notify the customers. But what they found, this hole is what they is installed. It's stainless steel. To make a tap. And this thing has came loose for some reason, and it's been, you can see it's been eating on that pipe. It's about, a groove about the size of 2 walnuts. Got down far enough that it split the pipe, and it was 12 feet long. So there's pictures there. It went right up to the curb. The did damage to the new sidewalk. So these are pictures of the split. This pipe, this really took some effort to split this pipe because this is the heaviest plastic pipe that they make. So, I got home to draw, and for Jim did, he came down and he dug it up. He wanted to see what it was. So he kind of feels after the water line went in, they had to go back. They had to do repair a sewer line that went underneath the water line. He kind of feels that when they did that, it put the pipe in a stress for settling. And but I don't know whether that caller failed or what, but we're gonna have the salesman, we got it in the office, we'll have them look at it, render an opinion. But like I say, that, that's basically what failed and what caused the break. So it was compounded by us not having a tank behind it. So
Was that line that we were put on, was that speed realistic?
yes. Yeah, just not everything was. I don't know if everybody got these and did you send them out or?
I had emailed them.
This was the middle of the last meeting.
entertain a motion to. Saying aye. Oh, here's claim. Fred, have you seen? Ready, sir? Second? Approved. Uh, Mayor, contacted by Maloney, who represents future environmental council. And they have challenged I am approving closure plan for the ash pond. And Jim Carr, the one that we pay to represent our hydrologist, he has investigated this, and I asked him about this today, told him that, the mayor said that this is that. And he said, we expected ATC several issues. Our areas where expose our wells. Now is the decision to allow closure would be the attempt to use our area for topsoil. It's a specific part of the closure plan that stands a better chance of being that using the soil for the cap is the contractor's immediate request. I then sent a May 5th letter of additional information. Besides what is discussed in their work plan, will be needed to demonstrate there's adequate soil for the cap. Resolution of that part of the question has been put on until specified later. They were behind us where they want to take that. I told you, drill soil borings and see what kind of, depth and everything is there. And that hasn't been done yet. And there's like a deadline, the 60 days from the May 5th approval that that's supposed to be done. So unless they show up here in the next couple of weeks, I look for them to kind of, hold off on that, and see what develops. The water ESP. We've had some issues, of course, if we're small or whatever, but one thing we did find here, we just were made aware of. I'm going to pass this around. This is what we use for our gaskets to seal up our meters. This is what we found in a couple of others that we've gone back and we've had to replace the setters because of the leak. And I voiced my concern on this because I said, while you guys saving a few goddamn cents, I said, I could have gave you our gaskets to save on the price of a couple of setters of what we've had to put in. I said, because this was in there so tight because of that thin gasket. The guy who found it, Steve Brooks, he didn't think he was going to be able to get it apart to change it. And when he put our gasket in, tightened it up, a week later, now it's leaking and it has to be replaced. So Rusty, he says that, this, has to be somebody just picked that off the truck by mistake. So we're supposed to go in and investigate more. They're probably 99% complete on the water meters, and they are 80% complete on the gas meters, which doesn't include any gas meter change outs. But the gas meters that have been debated, they are in the garage. So I think since they're not qualified to change out the gas meters, I think they're going to delete that from the scope of the work and just bill us for the price of the gas meter. So I'm curious as to what they do bill us.
I did not get an electronic copy.
I hope that. No. What they say is going to be new revenue from so the labor savings, that's how much we were paying in March and Lisa. I argued that, Marge and Lisa were only making $9 and $10 an hour. And how they got, a cost of $97,000, for those two meters, I'll never know. And then water loss recovery, they installed sensors in this system. And I think that will be their key to try to avoid any warranty, because what they're going to say is we didn't respond and fix the leak soon enough, and that inflated the water loss. But that money, when in the fourth column, that's what the total is supposed to be. Well, then I started in the payment there because I don't have a fresh copy. I think Benny's got it. Sure, I know, Benny, I think we're right. We got a $95,000 payment this October. And then $145,000 a year after that, until the thing is paid off. And like I say, I just don't think, we'll see anything out of these people on this. Maybe wrong. Like I say, it's been, like I say, that's one of the things that Derek has been helping with. We're debating with them over, like, there's no line item for like the different sizes of water meters and gas meters and what they're doing. There's just a lump sum total. So, when it comes to it, they just say, well, we've got, this many done, and this is where we're at. So, now it's becoming a factor. So I'm curious to see what he'll come up with, on the invoice, on this next invoice. So, that's where we stand with ESG. Right now, they're out of town, because they're waiting on some parts. They've got, like I said, a handful of water meters to do, and one of them is the casket company, because Matthews, they said they couldn't shut down, and they're supposed to have a shutdown in July. But right now, if they could get 7 days a week from the labor, they would be doing it. But they're only getting 6 days a week, and they're shutting down on Sunday. But I guess there's been such, with the virus, there's been such a demand for caskets that they did not want to take a chance that, if we turned the water off and had problems with no parts or something, that they couldn't open up. So we're gonna wait for that shutdown, you know, to put in their meter. So, let's see, let's bring this up to, Langley Heights tank. Into new bottom. And if we would have done the new bottom, we would have been into this for $240,061. Okay? We went to a new coating and that on the inside, through that 42.5. So that was the first change order. And there's a second change order for $2,500 on their end. And also, so that takes them to 171,875 compared to 40,000. So they have an invoice, Benny. I forgot to print that out. Do you have it? Number 2. Yeah, I don't think I do. Okay, but I got a change order that I need to approve, to get approved. And this comes from my talking with these people because, one of the guys I talked to before, he said that they should have cut a hole in the floor first thing to see what the steel looked like. And I asked George, I said, why didn't we do that? So George called up there and said, we need to cut a hole in the floor. So they did. I've got this, I'll pass it around. And that's the hole. There's the steel that they pulled out. You can see it's in very good condition and the sand underneath. And this is the primer on the top where they got everything. They did an excellent job of cleaning this thing down with all the wax and grease and rust. And then this is seen for a close-up. This white stuff is the first layer of primer. And then this down here is also, that's looking down. There's the hole that fills it. There's a new hatch. There's also a hatch on this side now, which are meeting OSHA rules. And they also had to put a new vent on top. So you can pass these around. And what George explained to me, what they are doing is, originally we were looking at that rubber coating, but a normal, the primer is 2.5 to 3.5 mils thickness. Then they put on the first layer of epoxy. And that's 6 to 8 mils thickness. Then this new stuff that is giving us our 25-year guarantee is 20 to 30 mils thick. And that's, the inside has been done and all that is curing out. So while that's curing, they are painting the outside. I thought the outside was already done when I looked at there and saw the repaint, but it's, Pickett said, no, they're starting this morning. They're putting the outside paint on and going around. It's a little bit darker green than what's up there and not as dark as what was on there before. But if you want to pass that around, but like I say, there was also more inspection, and because I told George, I said, I want more people, or I want your inspector down here.
There's no big difference.
Oh, yeah, we probably, everything goes well. We should start this weekend, and once we fill it, have to flush it, and then we'll get 2 consecutive samples. And then we can fine. So hopefully by the middle of next week, next week for sure, she'll be back in. Deadline, I think, was July 4th, so we're gonna be well ahead of their deadline. So, with that, I have the order for CRW. This is gonna be 9,500, but with the additional inspection, it's gonna be 37,000. And we're still under, right now, if everything, nothing else changes, we would have been into this for $277,061. We're only gonna be into it for 208,000. So that's where we're at. And, I just need a motion on, approving the two change orders, and signing those. So,
Okay. Okay, Patrick, you may look to approve.
that or anybody's got any, George did send me some, pictures this morning of the inside of the tank before they sealed it up. I can't go. Deirdre and, them, they were busy. So, if anybody's a computer whiz, if you want to see them, I'll send them your way. But like I say, those pictures, I don't know.
I'm impressed with the steel. I love that. That looks really.
Isn't that unreal?
That is.
After
That is
so long.
pristine.
Oh,
I'm great.
you know, I was worried that the bottom would look
Yeah,
as bad as the top.
that looks good.
It's in good shape. And,
Won't have to worry about it in our lifespan.
Okay, let's go ahead and approve this too.
Okay. Yeah.
For 200,000 is that big enough? Okay, a motion.
No, you got one for 2,500 for Larry, and you got one for 7,500. Has invoice number 2. Yeah, so we need an approval on invoice number 2. As I say, we're doing a fantastic job. So
What's invoice number 2?
that's, paying them for doing the tank work. Yeah.
Have a motion to approve the invoice number 2. Patrick makes a motion. Fair second that. Other than that?
Now, on tank front, okay. Same time. We got glass on the inside and on the outside. And water wasn't coming through the overflow pipe, coming from the bottom. Well, George didn't climb it, but he had one of his guys climb it. He took a picture, there's a hole inside of the tank right below the overflow. So the water's running out and it goes down on the walkway and then just runs off everywhere. And so it's not even getting up to the overflow. The other problem we found, which I knew this, none of the old tanks, this is on the top, this is the cap, that's a vent, and there's a ladder to get to it. But there's no screen. So what do you think goes into the tank? Birds.
Birds.
So, there's, you know, you don't need to spread that, but
you go to the country club, tell Woody you want bourbon in your water, or whatever. So, they want me to, they gave me a price, $1,300 to there's a repair, there's a leak on the overflow as it is, but then also to patch that hole in the tank. And then they want to install a new vent to replace that one. And it involves, let's see, Ben or John add this up, 5,750, 2,500, and 1,350.
You done any of this again?
81, 9,600, that's why. You got to carry one. Okay.
Well, I told them, I said, the problem with this is we give him, he's not a golfer. Charlie, he's ready to stroke out because I can't give him free rein on pouring water on the golf course. We're buying water from LMS and then we're running overtime to kick it on and off, to get the water. And so I don't know if we will try to do this this fall. Like I said, this and the Treasure Hill tank are in very bad. So I'm very pleased with Larry's work. This was a quote to get us through the winter because my worry is that if something would fail with the controls and they would, while it's really cold, and the water goes up and gets on that hole and starts running out the side, it'll create an ice fall. And, that could be a very bad issue. So that's where we're at on that, and we'll know more on that towards fall. Like I say, usually he goes right up until we get a frost, because he always tries to put fertilizer on it, and then he isn't real hard with water. He shuts down. The other problem we're running into, the 350 bridge, as you all see, and probably heard about, they're over there beating the hell out of it, and the pipe that we have underneath, it's got couplings every 20 feet, and we've been lucky that 2 of them have been on this side where we could reach with ladders, and then we had a lift for parts. So I'm hoping that all their jackhammering is done and that they will start replacing the steel. So the other thing, they do have the header wall on this side, they have the jackhammer out. So it's, that's been a big issue. The county, I think I told you this before, they're getting money like what the city did on their streets and roads projects. And they have 3 projects for next year, which are going to affect our gas and water lines on Lower Dillsboro Road. Each one of those, probably to relocate them, we're looking at 15 grand each. Lawfrey and Gregory, on this side, because those are on Lower Dillsboro. They've got one down there that we have to, they're redoing a bridge, and that one probably is gonna cost us about 15 to 20. And when they do all this, they have their engineer and he sends you this package. He say, well, do you need help relocating all these lines financially? Or if you say yes, because that's what I told the engineer, well, if I check yes, what are you gonna do for us? And he said, well, nothing, because as you know, they don't put money in there for utility location, so it falls back on us. So Todd
is gonna do the survey work, which we need to know, so we don't end up moving it 2 or 3 times. But like I say, it's really putting us in a bind, and we still have, Pat, needs to do the Pleasant View job before the kids go back to school, if they go back. And then, Wilson Creek still has to be done, and I told, Jeff Minders, I did not want him to come in and do anything while the tank was down. And I said, once it's down, you could, come in and have at it, because that line under the creek, he gave us a good price, and I'd like to get that done. Well, then he's got that in last year's budget. Oh, when is this one for, Benny?
That's pay application number 8 that we received at the end of May. For ESG. And it's, you had said that they were down to the. Reason we don't see it yet is because they didn't send us the letter tonight, this time it just.
When is that?
They were the ones that we. They're fine, they've got more than enough. They can wait. The way that we're doing it, it must have worked.
Okay. The governor has said we're not allowed to shut people. So I bring that up. It's not as big a concern with February 29th. 3,100 bills, that's total gas. Sewer. Balance 422,000. Current of that was 403. 31 to 60 days, 3,700. And the next was 61 to 90 days past due. 91 or more was 13,212. But like I say, when it gets out to 91 or more, these people are usually already off. And we're looking at either write-offs or sending them collections. But when you go to March, 3,126 bills, and that broke down to 401,000 for gas, water, and sewer, and then 5,000 for the first group. 61 to 90 was only 1990, 13,000. So you can see they're all fairly consistent for the first two. Then in April, the 400,000 is going down. The reason for that is because your gas bills. So instead of, that's what the difference is. So we still got the same number close, 3116. But all the billing is 314,000, which 31 to 60 days is starting to get a little better. And down. So then you go to the end of May, which they just did, and then it's down further because of the heat, going on with the gas bills. So, we're still 31 to 60 days, we're down 90, we're then 14,212 on the 90. I think, and at the end of June, we're allowed to shut off. So that's where we are. They're not paying.
People
Oh,
moving
that's
or?
people moving out. You get a lot of people, but these are parking for Mark or not, and get over the, you know, they go somewhere else for the summer. Is that right?
Yeah, I had that many times.
Now, these 91 and over, what's owed for that month?
That's the
February,
total
what's owed
balance.
for that? So it would add up to
There's some big. That's your balance.
He's had all
all
those
that
together.
together.
May 31st, it would be payable until June 20. And, you know, the ones that are further out, 14,000, that's the one you send to, and we're gonna shut it off. You know, with the other, you know, I'll do it now.
But what I'm getting at is like the February.
Well, it's a running balance. Words, it's part of the total. There might be somebody like, Benny's might be in there, John might. Yeah.
So we're only in the hole.
That's,
Have
that's,
they contacted guys?
not really.
They're gonna get.
Yep. With. Try this one. Use new meters to use for the reading for the bill. And there'll probably be some hell raised. You could look, I added the total. Gas is hard to do because last year was kind of cool, this year it wasn't. Because last year, and then 81,000. It's probably, it hasn't been as cold this year, so that's why that's down. So, but water, been holding off and we've been estimating it, and we probably haven't estimated it high enough because last year for the first 5 months, we sold 76,049,000 gallons of water. This year, we only sold 66,388,601.
So are they gonna get billed for 10 million gallons of water at one time?
Well, that's what has me worried is what, you know, because the meters, they started in February. So some of them are gonna have February all the way up until now. But some of them, it's really been a nightmare trying to run with this thing. Girls have tried to, ones that were changed along the way, tried to change in the system. And when we estimated on the new meter. So with that being said, if we did that, then there should be a normal bill for this month. And if we didn't, you know, then somebody's gonna see a real high bill. And, you can see sewer, it's a little bit closer, but sewer also,
46,393,000 last year, 41,912 this year. So this will be a very telling moment for us, because that's our intent, is that the bill you get will be all computer generated. The thing that they're riding around town with, saying, talk to me, baby. It's, it'll have all the readings, the meter will talk to this. There won't be no Marge and Lisa reading numbers wrong and writing them in the book wrong. It'll go into the office, they'll plug it into the computer, and the computer will take over and send you a bill. So the human factor will be out of it.
Is there a way after before we hit the button?
And on Candy, I said there's got to be a way, because you gotta remember, they have 1,900 gas customers. They've only got 1,700, like 1,690 or something like that in, because their other ones are too old to change. So all they're doing is going around putting that new thing on the meter, index, and, basically, we're not getting a new meter, we're getting just that thing that sends in the reading. So the rest of them, we're still gonna have to, I'm hoping the computer print a list and say, you didn't get a reading for all these people. So at that point, somebody has to go out and read those readings that still have to be changed out. And that's why we're doing it now. Was gonna do it today, but that got snapped. But they're gonna go around and read, and then the ones that don't, then we'll read manually and add them into the system. So everything will be ready to go by the end of the month. And then next month, we'll go again in the middle of July, and that way we're gonna be on that schedule, try to have everything ready for the end of the month, by reading in the mid-month, and have everything ready to go. So that's, like I say, I don't know how to get people to understand that, because they call the ones that, some of the ones that have been changed. It's like Tony Conley, he had one right next, it was the old Gilbert Eagles property. And his was changed out, and his usage went from like, well, I don't really know what his usage was, because we were estimating. And, it went sky high, and he kept saying, oh, I checked everything out, couldn't find everything, you got something in there. So finally, one of the trainers showed up, because these meters, they've got the ability to look at your usage for the last 45 days. And if you had a leak, like a commode, or if something ran, say like you turned the faucet on and let it run, it'll show that. It'll tell you exactly the time and the day when it started. So we told Tony that right here it's up and down, showed him the graph. It looked like a commode, stopping and starting. So he said, you got me. So he went out and we can do that now. So like I say, but these people, the human interaction, because before you had a human that read them, so they wrote it in a book, which could have been two mistakes. They could have looked at it wrong. They could have wrote it in the book wrong. Then when it went into the office, the girls could have looked at it wrong and entered it into the computer wrong. So, that human error is the great advantage of this new system to eliminate everything. So that's where it'll be. And like I say, when people say, oh, there's no way I could have had a leak, I mean, we can get their history right on the meter and, you know, see what happened. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but like I say, it's, the guy who was supposed to train us, he came here for a 2-day stay and he couldn't get into our computer to show him anything, so he was a snafu, and they learned more going out and doing it on their own than what they did with him, but, a lot of people involved, because you got not only ESG, but the whole thing together, you got pedal bow change the meters, of course, they didn't do anything, and then you got the people that have the readers that go on the meters, so, you know, they've all got a different story to tell, but we'll get it ironed out, hopefully, and, oh, the last thing, George and Joe we've been sending them information on the, gas, water, and sewer. And one thing that I want to ask, should we include anything in this master plan about outside ownership taking over the utility? Now, the reason I'm asking this is because I got to looking through some paperwork. Our last rate increase for water, 2005.
We just gave a rate increase.
On sewer, not on water.
When you increase the water, sewer's gonna go up too.
Just affects the sewer, doesn't affect the water. And I can tell you that last week, when Benny did payroll, Deirdre had to wait for people to come to the window to pay their bill to be able to make a deposit so the paychecks would go through. The water utility right now is just being walked in the ass from all the work. And like I say, with these projects that's coming up, and like I say, in the past, nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to run this like a business and say, yes, we need to make money and we need to make sure we have good water lines and good water tanks for our kids and their grandkids. And of course, that's what's happened up in South Dearborn. We're paying this company more to run the sewer plant because it was a good idea. And I guess because it takes out the need, because like I say, doing the gas, and this has been brought up to me numerous times, why don't you guys go hook on Texas Gas and bypass Sycamore for a savings? And of course, my answer is because we never have a gas guy who does nothing but stay on top of the gas system. One day he might be a gas man, the next 3 days he might be fixing water leaks. And I said, when you hook on to Texas Gas and you bring gas into town at 90-pound pressure, that's a whole lot more responsibility than buying the gas at 30 pounds like we do from Sycamore. There's a big safety factor there. And I told him, Darren, doing the study, I said, I will never push for that until, that, because it's always been, it's just like right now. Water owes gas already, I think, 50 to 75,000. I'm not sure on sewer, because sewer has been paying back, but there's still some money that sewer owes to the gas utility. And the auditor, she didn't ask about any of that. But like I say, I've always told you,
you should make an ordinance or a resolution in here, you do that. Because that way you got proof that they said to do that, you know? And like I say, for that reason, like I say, the gas utility would have a huge demand if you put it up for sale. Sycamore would want it.
Sell it all, just sell fucking Aurora.
Well, that's what I say. Do you want that included in this master
Oh,
plan?
get them everything. Oh, let's get it.
I,
Get them everything. No, the way we fix
well, you know, you say that, but goddamn,
I say
it's
that.
from 1904. It's just like say that line up there.
That's
That's
what I'm saying.
last year.
I'm still burning my ass over this. We could hire people to do that. Hell, we could crack them off.
Everybody wanted to do that because of that guarantee.
Oh, bullshit, I'll hire everybody. I don't want to do it. I guarantee you.
Well, you was the one that wanted to bring in the inside people. I'm surprised they haven't said anything about that because the local people is what they try to point out that, you know, that's the ones that made the mistakes, which I don't know whether to believe that or not. So. But like I say,
$1 million we could have
if you want something in the master plan, I could tell Joe to include it and find out if there is any interest. So,
Just shut the whole city down. Let the mayor run this stuff.
Well, there's some things we need.
That's what I.
There's some things we need to do. Bosford don't want to buy it.
So they would do like a cost benefit to do on private sales, that kind of what he's asking.
do what?
Does he want to know if they want to look into the options of what the benefit would be for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There isn't hardly anybody out there for water, sewer, you know, you got American Water and stuff, but they suck.
Yeah, you got some bigger companies that might come in.
But that wouldn't ever be beneficial for the citizens, the companies that are out there. But there's some rethinking that needs to be done as far as projections and budgeting and what it costs moving forward, what it's gonna cost just to function. You gotta pay for your repair. You gotta pay for your operating costs. How are you gonna do that?
The meters are supposed to make us just like.
They're gonna save you money. You're gonna get paid for water and food that you haven't been getting paid for the last umpteen years. Who knows how many? You know, he showed you chart after chart after chart how many gallons of water that wasn't getting billed. So that's gonna get billed now.
Well, like I said, I can tell you this, like I said, 2005, fitting. Now they cost $15 a piece because of that law. So.
That's what I'm saying, the cost of business went up.
The meter center back then cost probably $30. Now, they're $170.
That's a big increase over a few short periods
Yeah.
of time.
That's, just inflation. Plus, I'd say, our money has been well spent, you know, on Second Street and on Third Street, because like I say, it's half gaming and half utility money. Like I say, it's still.
And we're doing long-term projects that's gonna be here way after. So you gotta look at the long-term implications of what it costs, but it costs. And as time goes by, it's gonna cost more.
The worst thing you have facing you, which is right next to Lawrenceburg and Greendale, they have the cheapest rates in the
You
state
can't compare it.
because it's just like this thing where they declared emergency funds and they're paying their customers' bills. Well, you know, you're not allowed to pay anybody's bills, but they're bypassing it somehow, but they've got the money to do that. And just like say, nobody in the state has rates as cheap as them. And like say who was the lady that was down here when we did the master plan study? She said, you know, our rates are low when you look at, you know, like what Billsboro, you know, rest of the state are paying. So, and I can tell you, with these people up there at the sewer plant, it's gonna get worse on the sewer end of it. And that doesn't include any money to find leaks and get rid of it. And replace lines that, you know, are 70 years old.
You're recommending that we raise rates?
You're gonna have to, John, because next year, at 90,000, we can probably pay that. But next year, to pay 145,000, you know, and like I say, to quote Benny, don't come to me for any projects next year. Because that'll be our project. Is that paying that 145,000 for these meters. So,
What prompted, George and Joe to even ask about?
they didn't, they don't want to see this, no, the guy. Joe don't want to see us. For sure. Or hire George and Joe. So,
You think we need to raise pay to the unions?
I think so. I showed you right there, that these are their numbers. This will only generate year 138,000, and then we're gonna save 100,000 from Marge and Lisa, who both made right about $10 an hour.
We looked at these charts and said, oh, it's.
Well, this is what they gave us when all this was debated. You know, and I'll tell you that, put on the table.
This one we'll get. Supposed to be looking at this. Who's supposed to look at this stuff?
My,
Director, it's gonna be in line either. Rest. They often have it here. We get three. But are we guaranteed this money if we don't make that here?
they say you are.
I mean, we should be.
And say,
Has he, I mean, my. Which, granted, we've got to. Hold this up today. As we build, that's this year we pump. 5% more.
everything I go up, take it, oh, we'll take care of it, just like the. Piece of that. That wasn't in the specs. Said right in the specs. 18 inches, all they were gonna do was change the figure. Said, that should be in the contract. He got an email, and said, we'll take care of those. So when they first, that's why we got started fixing them, because I pulled that out. I said, your man said that you take care of that. So now we're debating, but that's only, what, 16,000. So, well, and,
Gaming's back in business, so we're gonna be increasing gaming money.
It increases. Right. It's.
$1,000 a year. First year we spent it on Second Street. We have, that's where ability is supposed to be out. Wow. He said that we pay the bank away the money for SG. People. On your own, we say, no, we don't want to raise rates. State's gonna come in, they're gonna give it to American Water. Water's gonna set 40% increase.
Yep. A bit.
Oh, I don't know. I
Oh, I mean,
Under the 5-year plan. As an escape. Oh, the city. That.
They would look at it.
Eventually, I'll say.
Personally, yeah.
We, you know. Not $1 million this year. Not $1 million that we're, again. I know it's difficult to know that we have to keep two enterprises separate. Self-sustaining unit. Every time I hear about the pool, I hear, oh my God. Nobody ever cares about the utility. It loses money, and it's like, we
you know, if we wanted to be here, if we wanted to be out there, we've got to be able to charge a fair. Not charging a fair price because we want to make sure that, and eventually that'll catch up with.
Have we looked at, part of this plan? Realistic. That's why we did.
I remember last one.
They gave you, or gave me as this much this year, this much the year after.
I think we have history in come up with it. To get projects. We're not trying to get.
Well, we pretty well, let the seniors, whatever way to take it.
Oak Street Wall.
Third Street.
Next year.
That's what we got looking the other day.
Okay, you know, we're waiting on Chris right now. Well, we're waiting on the bricks because they're not going to grind the bricks. That's the bricks. Yep, and that.
Which is what
Ready.
The light poles are first coming in next week, so.
Yeah. The tops are here, the poles, the posts, we just got to work on that.
Yep.
You know, just.
It was an ADA thing. It was an ADA compliance thing, why they did that. The other option they had was to raise the curb up a little bit. But we wanted to leave the curb low enough where your car door wouldn't hit it. And to keep ADA compliant. This reform or something, that Benny? I know council voted to pay the mower blades. I don't know what account that should be coming from or.
The put on the water meter.
just needs 40.
Yep.
Whatever. 23.
Could you get that for me? Do you have contact information I can reach out to him? I don't know.
Who can I send this to other than